It happened in front of everyone. The new black girl, Maya, had just moved to town, quiet, polite, always sitting alone. The bully Tyler couldn't stand how she ignored his teasing. That day, in the cafeteria, he decided to show her who's boss. He reached out and tried to grab her arm, but the moment his hand touched her, the unexpected happened. Maya twisted, light and fast, just like her dad had taught her in their old neighborhood gym. Tyler lost balance and hit the floor, his lunch flying everywhere. The cafeteria went silent. Then he started crying. What Maya said next made the whole room rethink what real strength looks like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories about courage and dignity. Maya had always been quiet, not because she was shy, but because she'd learned that silence was sometimes stronger than shouting. After moving from Atlanta to a small town, she promised herself one thing: stay invisible until graduation. It wasn't easy. On her very first day, she noticed the stares. Her dark skin, braided hair, and confident posture made her stand out in the crowded halls of Brook Hill High. The whispers came quickly, soft at first, then louder as days passed. She thinks she's too good for us. Why does she talk so proper? She's from the city, probably trouble. Maya ignored them. She focused on her classes, her sketchbook, and her mom's voice in her head. Grace isn't weakness, baby. It's strength with control. But there was one student who refused to let her be invisible: Tyler Grant. Tyler was the kind of kid everyone followed, loud, tall, used to getting attention. His father owned half the businesses in town, and he'd grown up believing that no one could challenge him. When Maya didn't laugh at his jokes or blush when he teased her, it irritated him. Every day in the cafeteria, he'd call her name across the room. "Hey, new girl, you too good to sit with people." Maya would just smile softly and keep eating her lunch. Each time she ignored him, his temper grew. His friends laughed, egging him on. "Bro, she's not even scared of you." Tyler grinned, but it stung. Deep down, he wasn't used to being dismissed. A week later it happened. It was a normal Tuesday. The cafeteria smelled of pizza and fries, echoing with noise and laughter. Maya sat at her usual corner table, earbuds in, sketching quietly in her notebook. She was drawing her mom's face, soft eyes, strong smile, when a shadow fell across her page. Tyler stood there, smirking. "You always hide in back here. What, too good to talk to people?" Maya didn't look up. "I'm just eating." "Oh right, you're one of those quiet ones. Think you're better than everyone." She took out one earbud. "No, I just don't like noise." A few kids nearby chuckled. Tyler's grin faltered. No one had ever made him look small before. "Noise, huh? Maybe I'll make some." He reached toward her tray, trying to knock it off the table, but Maya's hand moved first. "Come quick." She caught his wrist lightly, not with anger, just precision. Tyler froze. He hadn't expected that. It wasn't a hit, not even a struggle. She simply moved his arm aside, guiding it away from her space, the way her father had shown her when they practiced basic self-defense in their old garage. The motion threw him slightly off balance. His knee bumped the bench, and he stumbled. His tray tilted, pizza, milk, and fries sliding across the floor with a loud clatter. The entire cafeteria went silent. Tyler blinked, stunned. For the first time, everyone was laughing, not at someone else, but at him. A hot flush of humiliation crept up his neck, and then Maya did something no one expected. She stood, bent down, and picked up his fallen tray. She looked him in the eyes and said softly, "Next time, just ask if you want to sit with me. You don't have to prove anything." The laughter died. Tyler's face crumpled, not from pain, but from something he hadn't felt in years: shame. He mumbled something no one could hear and hurried out of the cafeteria, tears welling in his eyes. Maya sat back down, slipped her earbuds in, and kept sketching. That afternoon, whispers spread faster than wildfire. "Did you see Tyler? She didn't even fight him, and he just broke. Who is that girl?" Teachers heard about it. Even Principal Andrews called Maya to his office, asking what had happened. She told him the truth. Calm, honest, no dramatics. "He tried to grab my lunch tray. I just moved his hand away." The principal smiled faintly. "It sounds like you handled it better than most adults." When Maya left the office, she saw Tyler waiting outside. His eyes were red, his voice small. "Hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that." Maya nodded. Apology accepted. Then she added gently, "People laugh at others when they're scared of being laughed at themselves." Tyler looked down. "Yeah, maybe." For the first time in years, he didn't feel like the strongest person in the room. He just felt human. From that day on, something shifted in Brook Hill High. Maya didn't become popular, but she earned respect. People started sitting near her, even just quietly doing homework, sketching, or talking about art. Tyler kept his distance for a while, then slowly started changing. He joined a volunteer group Maya was part of. When a new student came later that semester, he made sure they had a place to sit, and whenever people asked him what happened that day, he'd just shake his head and say, "She didn't fight me. She just reminded me what real strength looks like." Moral strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it stands calm, confident enough to protect itself, humble enough to forgive. The days after Tyler's first humiliation were strangely quiet. He He stopped bothering Maya for a while, but the silence only made his friends whisper louder. They'd been there that day in the cafeteria, watching their leaders stumble and fall, his lunch flying everywhere, his pride cracking like glass. They didn't dare say it to his face, but the look in their eyes said everything. Tyler Grant had been beaten by the new girl, and she hadn't even lifted a finger out at lunch tables. In locker rooms, and under the football bleachers, the story twisted and grew. She flipped his arm, she used karate or something, she threw him across the table. The versions got wilder each time they told it. Soon, the whole school was buzzing, not just about Maya, but about how she'd made the most popular boy look powerless. 1. Tyler's breaking point. Tyler tried to laugh it off at first. Come on, she didn't do anything. I just tripped. But his friends wouldn't let it go. Yeah, man, but it looked bad. You sure you didn't fall on purpose? Even Coach Rogers joked about it at practice. Keep your balance next time, Grant. Don't let a freshman take you down. Tyler clenched his jaw and forced a laugh. But inside, something was burning a bruise deeper than any punch. He wasn't angry at Maya, not really. He was angry at the idea that everyone thought he was weak, and when that anger festered, it turned into something else, a desperate need to win back control. 2. Maya noticed the looks in the hallways. The whispers followed her like shadows. Some were impressed, others skeptical. She's dangerous. She's too calm, creepy, but Maya didn't let it sink in. Every morning she repeated her mom's mantra in the mirror: grace over fear, dignity over pride. She had learned to master her emotions long before she came to Brookhill. Back in Atlanta, her dad, a retired security trainer, had taught her how to stay composed under pressure. He used to say, the moment you lose your calm, you lose control. So Maya kept her cool. She smiled at teachers, turned in perfect homework, and kept drawing in her sketchbook during lunch, even though she could feel eyes on her every second. 3. The rumor. One Thursday morning, Maya heard something that made her stomach twist. Someone had started a rumor that she'd bragged about taking Tyler down. At first, she ignored it, but then, when she walked into art class, everyone fell silent. Even Mrs. Lang, her kind teacher, looked awkward. On the whiteboard, in big black letters, someone had written, "Ask Maya how to flip a bully." The class laughed. Maya didn't. She just picked up the eraser, wiped the words away, and sat down. But deep inside, she felt a flicker of frustration. She hadn't wanted to humiliate anyone. She just wanted peace. Yet somehow, her calmness had become entertainment for everyone else. That day, she walked home slower than usual. The streets of the small town glowed gold in the evening sun. Her mom noticed her silence. "You okay, baby?" "Yeah," Maya murmured. "Just tired." Her mom gave her a knowing look. "Remember what your dad used to say?" Maya nodded softly. "Courage isn't loud, it's steady." 4. The second confrontation. By the next week, tension in the cafeteria had returned. Tyler's friends had made sure of it. "Yo, Grant," one of them said, "you're gonna let that girl keep your crown? Man, she's walking around like she's queen now." He slammed his soda down on the table. Enough. When Maya walked in that day, she immediately sensed something was off. The laughter felt different, forced, sharp. Her usual table in the corner was occupied by a group of boys, deliberately blocking her spot. She hesitated. Then she calmly walked to another table nearby. Tyler stood up. "Hey, we need to talk." Dozens of heads turned. Maya met his eyes. "What about?" Tyler hesitated. He hadn't expected her to sound so about that day, he said. "You made me look stupid." "I didn't make you do anything," she said quietly. "You tripped." His friend snickered. The tension thickened. Tyler's pride flared again. "You think you're better than me, huh? That's it, isn't it?" Maya sighed. "I don't think about you at all." The cafeteria gasped. Someone whispered, "Oh." She did not just say that. For a split second, Tyler's face changed. Confusion, anger, embarrassment, all swirling together. He took a step closer, trying to reassert himself. "Say that again." Maya stayed seated, calm as ever. "Tyler, I don't want any trouble." But he wanted attention. His friends had phones out now, recording, waiting for something dramatic. Tyler leaned closer, voice low. "You're not gonna make me look weak again." Maya's hand tightened on her pencil. Her heart beat steady. She could feel the familiar calm wash over her, the same calm her father had taught her during every drill, every breath. Stay grounded, never escalate, always control your space. She rose slowly, her eyes level with his. "Tyler," she said softly, "you can't take back respect by scaring people. You earn it by changing." The cafeteria fell silent. Everyone was listening now. 5. The moment before. For a moment, Tyler didn't move. The words hung in the air like a challenge, but not a cruel one. They sounded like truth. He opened his mouth, but before he could reply, someone from the back yelled, "Hey, Tyler, you gonna let her talk to you like that?" The laughter returned, louder this time, sharper. Tyler's pride flared again. He took one last step forward, too close now. Tension in every muscle, and that's when the moment happened that would become legend at Brookhill High. No punches, no violence, just a movement so quick and clean that half the cafeteria didn't even see what happened. Tyler stumbled, his balance gone, his lunch tray flying. The crash echoed like thunder. Gasps filled the air, and then silence. He blinked, realizing he was on the floor, food scattered, his friends staring, phones still in their hands, but now lowered in shock. Maya didn't move. Her face was calm, steady, almost kind. "Next time," she said softly, "just talk. You don't have to grab anyone to be heard." 6. The fall after the fall. Tyler sat there for a moment, blinking up at her. No one laughed now. The room felt frozen. He wasn't hurt, just shaken. But the weight of what had just happened, in front of everyone, was too much. His throat tightened, and to his horror, his eyes burned with tears. The same people who had cheered him on were now whispering, unsure. And that uncertainty, that flicker of pity, broke something in him. He pushed himself up, muttering, "I'm fine," and rushed out of the cafeteria. The door slammed behind him. 7. The whisper that changed everything that afternoon. The story spread again, but this time, it was different. She didn't fight him, she just moved. She stayed calm like she'd done it before. Teachers heard, the principal heard, even the janitor, Mr. Lewis, stopped Maya in the hallway to say, "You handled that like a grown-up young lady." But Maya didn't feel triumphant. She felt sad, not for herself but for Tyler. 8. Tyler's realization in the locker room. Tyler sat alone. His phone buzzed non-stop, messages, memes, videos, all about him. The words crying on the floor showed up over and over. He wanted to be angry. He wanted to blame Maya, but deep down he knew the truth. She hadn't humiliated him. His own pride had. For the first time, he saw what everyone else had seen, not a fearless leader, but a boy too afraid to be kind. He pressed his palms to his eyes and let out a shaky breath. 9. The quiet after the storm. After school, Maya walked home under a sky streaked with orange and purple. She didn't tell her mom what had happened. She didn't have to. Her mom looked at her, saw the exhaustion in her eyes, and said, "Grace wins again, huh?" Maya smiled faintly. "Guess so." But she also knew something had shifted forever. Tomorrow, people would look at her differently, not just as the new girl, but as someone who carried her own power quietly, like armor made of peace. And maybe, just maybe, the boy who'd once tried to embarrass her would learn something from that silence. 2. To be continued. The next day brings unexpected redemption, when Tyler faces her again. This time not as a bully, but as someone searching for forgiveness. That the next morning, Brookhill High buzzed like a shaken beehive. Everyone had seen the clip, Tyler stumbling, Maya standing calm, that one sentence echoing, "You don't have to grab anyone to be heard." Half the school thought Maya was a hero, the other half didn't know what to think. When Maya walked into the cafeteria that day, every head turned, the whispers quieted into the low hum of curiosity. She didn't meet anyone's eyes, just moved to her usual seat, opened her sketchbook, and began to draw lines smooth and deliberate, as if the noise around her didn't exist. Across the room, Tyler sat at his table, untouched food in front of him. His friends talked nervously, pretending everything was normal, but he couldn't hear them. The laughter from the video still echoed in his mind. He had replayed it 100 times last night, not the fall, not the embarrassment, but the moment afterward, when Maya bent down and helped him. No anger, no triumph, just calm kindness. That image haunted him. The decision during fourth period, Tyler couldn't take it anymore. He asked to go to the counselor's office. Mrs. Payne, a patient woman with silver-rimmed glasses, listened quietly as he spoke haltingly, shame thick in his throat. "I messed up. I wanted to look strong, and now everyone just sees me as a joke." Mrs. Payne folded her hands. "Or maybe they'll see you as human if you give them a reason to." He frowned. "What do you mean? Apologize publicly, not to save face, to make things right?" The idea terrified him, but something deep inside whispered that she was right. The cafeteria gathering at lunch, the noise was deafening again. Trays clattering, students laughing, rumors flying. Then the intercom crackled. "Attention, students," came Mrs. Payne's calm voice. "Before lunch ends, we'll have a short announcement from Tyler Grant." The cafeteria went silent. Tyler stood near the front doors, microphone trembling slightly in his hand. Every eye was on him. His heart pounded so hard he thought it might shake the mic. He swallowed, then began. "I know most of you saw what happened yesterday," he said. His voice was low but steady. "And I deserved what I got. Not because Maya embarrassed me, but because I embarrassed myself." A few murmurs rippled through the crowd. "I acted like someone I don't want to be. I let my pride make me cruel. I made fun of someone who did nothing to me. And when she stood her ground, I tried to make her look small. Instead, she showed everyone what real strength looks like." His throat tightened, but he kept going. "Maya, I'm sorry. Not just for that day, but for making this place harder for you since you came here. You didn't deserve that." He looked toward her table. The crowd shifted to follow his gaze. Maya sat still for a long moment. The silence was so deep that even the vending machine seemed to stop humming. Then she rose calm and poised and walked toward him. When she reached the front, she didn't take the microphone. She just smiled, small, genuine, and said, "I forgive you, Tyler." Then she added, "It takes more courage to apologize in front of everyone than to show off. You did good." A ripple of warmth moved through the room. that strange collective exhale that happens when people witness something honest. The shift Tyler handed her the microphone. Unsure what to do next, she hesitated, then spoke not to him, but to everyone. I moved here hoping to disappear, she said, but maybe I was supposed to stand out, not because of what happened, but because we all need to remember something. Power isn't about being feared, it's about being kind even when you could choose otherwise. Heads nodded across the cafeteria. Teachers, students, even the janitor leaning on his mop by the door. Someone started clapping, then another. Within seconds, the entire cafeteria was on its feet. Tyler blinked, stunned. Maya looked equally surprised, but she smiled shyly and stepped back. When the applause faded, Tyler whispered, "Thank you for not hating me." She chuckled softly. "Hate takes too much energy. I'd rather draw." They both laughed, quiet, awkward, but real. Aftermath from that day forward, Brookhill High felt a little different. Teachers noticed fewer fights. The students started sitting with kids they'd ignored before. The cafeteria, once a place of gossip and tension, slowly turned into something closer to community. Tyler joined Maya's art club a month later. At first, people thought he was joking, but he came every week, painting clumsy brushstrokes and asking genuine questions. Maya helped him, patient as always. "Funny," he said one afternoon, "how the girl I tried to pick on is teaching me to paint." "Funny how life works," she replied. Smiling dots. By the end of the semester, they entered a mural contest together. Their design, a huge pair of hands, one reaching down, the other reaching up, painted across the cafeteria wall. At the unveiling, Principal Andrews said, "This mural isn't just art, it's proof that understanding can grow where pride once stood." The crowd applauded again, but this time, it wasn't for Maya or Tyler individually. It was for what they had built together. Epilogue. Months later, when graduation came, Maya stood at the podium as class speaker. She looked out over the crowd, hundreds of faces, some familiar, some once hostile, and said, "We all stumble, sometimes in front of everyone. But the real test isn't how hard we fall, it's whether we choose bitterness or growth afterward. I learned that here, thanks to all of you and thanks to one moment in a cafeteria." Her eyes found Tyler in the audience. He smiled and nodded. The crowd rose in applause again, not out of pity or awe, but respect. As she stepped down from the stage, she thought of her father's words one last time: grace over fear, dignity over pride.